This video is going to be about how to track your calories in MyFitnessPal. This is good for beginners who have never used this app to track calories. I am doing this on the computer, so if you have never used it, you can download it on your phone and set it up. But I'm just going to set up my account on the computer and then we'll talk about how I use it to track my calories. And this is so that you can make it easier to bulk up by knowing how many calories you're getting. If you saw my previous video, you know that I recommend that you at least start off eating 3,000 calories. If you're a skinny guy and you want to build some muscle and you need to add weight, you're going to at least try to hit 3,000 calories. So we're going to go ahead into this video and talk about how to get everything set up for your account and then talk about tracking just a little bit. It won't be super in-depth. I can make another video if there's other specific things that you quite don't understand when it comes to tracking calories and using the app. First, I'm just starting a new account and I'm going to choose that I want to gain weight. Some of this stuff is not really that important, but I'm just going to say for me, I'm actually lightly active. And even when you are trying to gain weight, you don't want to be too active because then it's going to force you to have to eat more calories to keep up with your metabolism. So you have to watch out how many days you're working out. I'm not going to put my real date of birth here, but I'll just at least choose the year. So, well, this isn't my real age at all. But anyway, we're going to do that. And then we'll just choose a zip code here. All right. And then let's say I'm 6. I currently weigh 170. I don't even know my weight. I hadn't weighed myself in a while. But let's just say I want to gain my first 10 pounds. So I'm going to put 180 pounds here. All right, so let's say I want to gain 10 pounds. So I'm going to put 180 pounds here. Go forward. Gain 1 pound a week is a lot. Let's just say you gain 0.5 pounds per week. Now we're going to email address. Type that in here. Create a password. It says your password has to have at least 10 characters. So I'm going to go ahead and make a password and move forward here. All right, and so then I create a username. I don't want any emails. And it's saying here that my daily net calorie goal is 2670. So as you can see, it's right around what I already told you. If you're like around this height and weight and stuff, yeah, you're going to see you're getting close to 3000. I just say you might as well get used to 3000. If you can't get 3000 for whatever reason, then maybe yeah, you start off a little bit lighter. But yeah, I'll see if I got any pictures here of myself. Let's see. I'll just put this one here and upload photo. All right, cool. So now I'll go back home. All right, so now I got my account set up and basically it just gives you a certain amount of calories you need to reach. None of this stuff is the most important. Really, the main thing is you're just using it to see how many calories you're getting in. So if you're on the app, basically you go to your food area and then you have breakfast that shows up on your app. It looks very similar. It may not be the exact same, but it's just the concept. I'm just showing you what I would do. So here for breakfast, I'd add my food. And there's two ways to do it. You can add your food before you eat it, or even the day before. If you know what you're going to eat for breakfast, you might as well put it in the app so you can get an idea of how many calories that is, and then you can kind of start planning out the rest of your day. I'm going to put in what I already ate for breakfast today, and we're going to see if we can find that. All right, so today I had some sirloin steak, and I'm just gonna say I had about one serving of sirloin steak. Even though if you don't know how to measure your food, you could get a food scale. That makes it easier. But I had some sirloin steak today. Had eggs, so I'm gonna find one egg, which almost all one eggs are the same, no matter which way you put it. So I actually had 2 servings of eggs this morning for breakfast. Um, I actually might have had 3. I actually had 3, but we're just gonna leave it here because I'm just showing you. So I knew I had sirloin steak, I had eggs, I had a little bit of olive oil. Let's get that out the way. I had a little bit of olive oil in my food. So as you can see, olive oil measures out pretty much the same in different variations. So I'm actually going to say I didn't really feel like I had a whole tablespoon. I probably had like half a tablespoon. You can measure these things out on your own. I had 2 servings of grits. You could use the instant packs if you want to make it easier to measure. I used to use the instant grits all the time because it's easier to measure. I could say, oh, I had 2 packs of instant grits. Or you could substitute this with oatmeal. What else did I have? So we had steak, eggs, did a little bit of olive oil, and then we had some grits. I did have coffee, but coffee is actually 0 calories, believe it or not. But I had some sugar. So yeah, see, black coffee is not that much. I had in my coffee, I flavored it with normal whole milk, and it's a very small amount, so it's definitely not 1 cup. It's probably 0.25, like a quarter of a cup. And I know these numbers based on I've already used to measure my food, but if you have a measuring cup at your house, I suggest measuring these things out in the beginning so you get used to the amount that you're eating. Or you could buy a food scale if you want to measure out how many ounces of steak that you're about to cook. That will help there. But stuff with tablespoons, teaspoons, those should be easy to measure. And then so I also had some sugar. Now the one thing is if you're using your phone, you can scan barcodes for stuff too. So don't forget to use that feature. If you have things that are packaged in boxes, it's actually instead of typing it in and searching it the way I am on your phone or your computer, you can actually just scan the product into the phone and it's going to bring up that very specific product. So that's the easy thing to remember. Anything that has a barcode on it, just go ahead and scan it. Then you can go ahead and just put that in here. So I actually had about 6 servings of sugar today. So this would be my breakfast, for instance. As you can see, this is what I had. I roughly got close to 1,000 calories for breakfast. And with this breakfast, I got about 73 grams of carbs, 38 grams of fat, and 49, almost 50 grams of protein. My sodium was under 1,000, and I had 28 grams of sugar because I used the sugar in my coffee. The rest of the food didn't really have any sugar in it. The milk had just a small amount of sugar in it. And so that's how I would track my breakfast. The good thing is if you happen to eat the same thing every morning or similar things, MyFitnessPal is going to save some of these foods for you. So that way, when you go to add food, it will basically see, it will have here where you can just check what you had and then it will add it to the diary. So that's something to remember is once you add that food in once and the serving size, it's going to remember that food and the serving size. So if you're going to do it the next day, it's actually not that hard to continue to track your food. So here, once you get all your food set up, there are some other things that you can look at. So on your phone, you may have to scroll to another part where it will show you remaining calories for the day, how much carbs and fat and protein you probably want to get left in the day. So here it's saying I got 85 grams of protein that it wants me to get and how many carbs it wants me to get. You can pay attention to that stuff if you want when you're bulking up. However, I think the best thing to do is focus on hitting the calorie number first. And then once you get used to hitting the right amount of calories, then you can start trying to hit the specific amount of carbs, fat, and protein. You don't want to complicate things too much because if you try to do too many new things all at once, you're going to crash and burn very easily. Even if you start off doing it on point, you won't be able to keep it up long term. So just keep it simple in the beginning, which is the reason why my last video was something very simple because I'd rather you get started versus you trying to think of so many things that you don't do anything at all. Once again, your food scale is not required in order to do this. You don't need a measuring cup, but it is helpful. I figure most people have some type of measuring cup at their home to measure things like liquids for like the milk. You have spoons, obviously, so measuring things with tablespoons, teaspoons should be very easy. And so I basically do the same thing for lunch. For me, I'm actually going to have something very similar for lunch today. I'm going to have a sirloin steak again. I like steak because that's not exactly what I had last time. But anyway, yeah, I like steak because it gives me a lot of protein, keeps me full. But I know that I'm going to have steak. I know I'm going to have some black beans. Let's see. And these were canned black beans, yep. So I know that I'm going to have this stuff already. I don't know what else I'm going to put there, but you use this to make sure you're just hitting a certain calorie goal. That's all you care about really in the beginning. Just keep it to track your calories. That's all you want. On your food diary, it's just going to show you your total amount of calories. And that's all you want to care about is in the beginning, Add in whatever food is possible. If you're trying to bulk up, it doesn't have to be these super clean, healthy foods. You're actually going to really struggle to get those foods in if everything is super clean and healthy. So what I recommend is if you are trying to bulk up, just go ahead and eat the foods that are most satisfying to you. However, once you get to the calorie goals, then you can start looking at, okay, am I hitting a certain amount of carbs, fat, and protein? And then from there, you can start tweaking some of the foods so that they fit these categories. However, if you have any problem with finding ways to fit these categories after you can hit your calorie goal, then maybe you can hit me up. I can show you some ways that I've tweaked diets and meal plans over the years, so that way I can get something to where I'm eating whatever I want, but it's also fitting the protein, that the carb ratios. That is something I really enjoy doing. However, that would cost you some money because it is time consuming in order to do that. But either way, just let me know down in the comment below if that's something you're interested in. And then you can also email me at rebirthprohs@gmail.com. That should be in the description of this video. But this is just a way to get started. Like I said, I'm not going to go super in depth because I'd rather you get started. This just kind of shows you what it does and how I use it. Like I said, keep it simple. Just measure the amount of calories you're getting in the beginning and just make sure you're hitting close to 3,000 calories if you're skinny, trying to bulk up and build muscle. Anyway, thanks for watching the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can see more. And thank you once again.